Hey guys, how we doing today? We're in the Taste Kitchen today here at Fresh. We're going to make a great Pomodoro sauce. You're going to see how simple this is, how simple it is to prepare, how simple it is to cook, and then after we make it, there's going to be so many opportunities for things you can do with this. Let's get rolling. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get our pan hot. We're going to come over here and get our tomatoes ready. This time of year, of course, where we are in Tyler, Jacksonville tomatoes are where it's at. Now, say you made some of this, you froze it for the wintertime, you went through your supply, in the wintertime you're craving some great pasta with a Pomodoro sauce, canned tomatoes work just as fine, but of course this time of year, when we have great Jacksonville tomatoes, you should enjoy the fruit of the season, if you will. I got a noonday onion. While we're getting all these vegetables cut up, our pan's going to be getting nice and hot because that initial sear that we get, of course you'll hear it when we get rolling, is what it's all about, is developing that flavor. Okay, we got noonday onions. Now for the tomatoes, all we did was took a great Jacksonville tomato. You can smell it, just so good this time of year. Take the core off, make sure you don't cut your hand off. Just chop it up. I like breaking it down a little bit, but not too far, so you have some surface area to develop that flavor. All right, now we're going to come over here when our pan's nice and hot. We're going to add olive oil. So of course we don't want to get our pan too hot. I'm also going to add just a touch of grapeseed oil, so this is going to help our smoke point. But we want the olive oil because we want the flavor. That seems like a lot of oil, but when you see it come together, and plus the oil is all that flavor. But when it all comes together, it's not that much. There we go, nice and hot. We're going to come over here. Go straight into the pan. Now it's going to smoke and it's going to start searing really hard. You want to make sure that it doesn't flame up. You don't want that flame in there. Just enough to cover the bottom and leave it alone. Let it do its thing. We're going to come over here while it's searing. We're going to chop some garlic. Smush your garlic. Chop it up. You don't have to chop it up too fine because we are going to puree this. So we're going to keep our heat on high. So we want to sear it and get that good flavor in there. I put a little salt in there so the flavors start coming together. And of course you want to season that salt in the tomato so it tastes like a seasoned tomato. But when you come over and you shake it up, you don't want to shake it up over the fire because you don't want to flame it up. Whenever you see flames on that, you don't want that because what that is creating a gas that's going to put a bad flavor in whatever you're making, your pasta or your Pomodoro sauce, or if you're sauteing whatever kind of vegetable. Touch of pepper. We're going to go ahead and add our onion and our garlic. Now, of course, you're sitting around the house, nice, crisp, hot day outside. You probably got a bottle of white wine open, or if it's nice and cool outside, you probably got a bottle of red. Put a little splash of that in there. Gives it a little personality, a little more love. All right, so now that we've been simmering for a little while, we're going to come over here. All our juices have come out of our fresh tomatoes. Flavors have melded really well, and we're ready to make our decision. Now, classic, and of course I'm so far from Italian, it's hard for me to really give a reference point, but classic, rustic, kind of country fare, they'd probably leave it nice and chunky like this. I prefer it smooth and pureed a little bit, but also what I do is when I cook it, I puree it. That way I can have maybe spaghetti that night with some of this great sauce, and the leftovers I can freeze it for anything else down the road. A pizza, a lasagna sauce, I mean, you name it. You make a soup, you make some beans, you want to add a little tomato, a little acid to it, you've got some frozen tomato. So what I'm going to show y'all how to do is come over here and we're going to puree it. But know that if you want to finish it at this point, like this, you're welcome to. The beauty of cooking, right? You can do whatever you want. Okay, so this is the trick to where you don't want to make a mess like I just did. Oh yeah, look at that. Next time you might want to use a ladle. I just showed you what not to do. Okay. A little splash of olive oil. All right, so this is where you can figure out how smooth you want to go. I'm going to go as smooth as possible because I want it nice and velvety. But of course, the less you puree it, pulse it a couple of times, you're good to go. Remember, you got hot in there, so be very careful. All that power is going to build some pressure and make steam, so you don't want to go too fast. Once it takes, and you can see it that it's going, we're going to go nice and smooth. You'll see that it's going to get oranger as you puree. That's because you're putting air in there and you're fluffing it up, which is what I like. That should be good there. And there we go. Nice, fresh Pomodoro sauce. Now all we need to do to finish it, I got some great fresh basil. We're going to chop this up. And remember, the secret to a lot of summer cooking, nice and fresh and fast. Keep those nice, fresh, bright summer flavors in there. It's a great Pomodoro sauce. We'll see you next time, guys. Be good. Ciao.